So we are tonight on the 22nd of October 2021. It's a Friday evening, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and we are here for our Mentorship Invest meet. 1 hour, we're going to talk about the markets from a weekly perspective, and we'll look into the trading opportunities that we can focus upon in the next week. But as always, the first few minutes we will dedicate to the discussion on the market. On my screen, I have a dual approach using the same time frames. It's not a multi-time frame. It's the same daily time frame. It's just that on the left-hand side, I have kept the conventional candlesticks, and on the right-hand side, I want to focus a little bit on the Heikin-Ashi. Times are likely to be a little volatile. Heikin-Ashi is a very simple yet effective tool which slows down charts, and so I would take a look at both of them side by side for a better understanding. So the Nifty did play out after it had this bearish engulfing. We have 4 days of consecutive weakness from the index, and I think we are down over 3% by now. We are almost on a low to high basis, 2.9%, 2.89%. So a 3% correction from the index. Volumes have been fairly high, and at today's low, this is the Nifty futures. At today's low, we were at 18,051, so almost close to that psychological level of 18K. Now, this is from where we managed some intraday bounce back, and that is where we have an erstwhile high kicking in, this one. There you go. In fact, a little bit of clarity we might get from the Heikin-Ashi 75-minute time frame. This is it. So we've got a nice, in fact, this entire sell-off that we see, we've got a pretty decent flow of volumes. The point of control right now is around 18,150. VWAP prices supporting today's fall pretty well, and if this low holds, that is today's low holds, wherein we have a VWAP and a erstwhile high, then we should be expecting a bit of a bounce probably later next week. From a short-term perspective, index needs to deal with its previous swing high, which is close to 18,300, 316 to be very precise. VWAP on the downside in this entire selling is around 18,292. So there you go, 18,300, 18,320. I can mark it here for you to be easier. This one, we can take a look at it in our daily market wrap. So this is the one which is likely to act as a resistance. This looks like a decent support. We have the index support 18K, and on the upside 18,300. The 300 points range we should keep in mind for Monday and going forward next week. What about the short-term trend? Let's go back to the daily chart. Moving averages holding fairly well. We had a great run. Ideally, if I change in one time frame, it should change. Okay, so this needs to be clicked, interval. So now if I click on daily, both will become daily. There you go. So after this one-way rally that we've had, a little bit of correction is not going to hurt us much, just a 3% fall. But as I always, look towards is whether these corrections are one-legged or multi-legged, whether they will lead to successive falls or not. That needs to be seen. I think that clarity will have if we get a bounce back close to 18,300 and then if 18K breaks. But nevertheless, let's maintain the bullish bias. Let's look for some buying opportunity early next week. I think we should get few of them. In terms of the sectors, today's trade, real estate did fairly okay. It is consolidating the recent 3-day fall. Bank Nifty continues to outperform. We saw a big move coming in yesterday, and today also the index was up around 291 points and closing at 40,278. The Heikin-Ashis are extremely strong, suggesting that there is no need for any kind of a bearish approach. In terms of divergences, the Bank Nifty has some minor divergences with the short-term RSI over here, but Heiken Ashi is definitely not supporting it as of now. So we can expect financials and Bank Nifty to support. Metals were the biggest loser in today's trade, and what a fall it has been for the metals last 4 days. The index is down 10.5%. The index is down 10.5%. So that's quite a cut. Don't try and buy into this index right now or these stocks right now. At least wait for some ease off in selling. Media had a great run, but last 2 days it's been cooling off. Heiken Ashis have started to turn red, though shadows are still there, but not a very important sector, is it? Pharma disappoints big time. In fact, pharmaceutical over the last 4-5 days have also fallen significantly. Let's take a look at this: 6.1% fall from the sector. Still in an uptrend and kicking in really well. This zone for pharmaceuticals, the NX Pharma, it's got a pretty decent support. So let's see whether it holds or not. IT, Infosys was doing good, but then it's come off in the last 3 days. It's creating a range for itself. If you take a look here, it's creating a range for itself on the top. Will it be a distribution? We'll see that. Small and mid caps hurt quite a lot. In fact, most of the sharp sell-off has come from this pack. I was mentioning this in our daily market views, almost 8% correction. So overall, it's a healthy correction across the sectors, except the Bank Nifty. Most of them have fallen quite a bit, and that's not bad. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing, because if you, let's say, if you take a look at the small cap index, it's back to its breakout levels, which it was trading at around mid-September. And so we can expect, if the bull market has to continue, if the bullishness has to be maintained, then these highs should hold. These highs on the small cap should ideally hold this price. If we just take a look at the price per se, there is no such sign, especially in this small cap 100 index chart. There's no such sign as of now. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Those which have fallen sharp and hard will probably take a couple of more days time to stabilize. Those which have stabilized, we'll take a look at few stocks, will probably give us some opportunity next week. Let's maintain that bullishness. Let's probably look for some short-term bounce back trade, some short-term bounce back early next week. Kotak Bank, amongst the banking, has performed exceptionally well. In one of the daily videos, I was mentioning about the breakout above 2050. HDFC Bank disappointed a little bit today. It did gain some grounds, but created a doji to close with. Icons have improved, but the doji is a little bit of discomfort. When it rallied significantly above the 1700 mark, given away so much, is a little discomfort. State Bank of India has created a pretty longish lower shadow yesterday, which calls for a hanging man kind of a pattern. Need to be a little careful. I think we will have divergences here with State Bank. Yes, there are definite signs of divergences on the chart of State Bank of India. So need to be a little careful. We might get a short-term correction. But overall, the banks have performed so well, and they have outperformed the index, have completely negated the bearish engulfing and has gone into an uptrend. Today, we'll take a look at the top stocks quickly rather than going through the RRG charts right now. I would like to focus on those stocks which are consolidating and which can be possible short-term long trades next week. Tata Motors consolidating, stretched significantly from its moving averages, so we should wait out a little bit. ITC, we need to wait. The range expansion is very, very clear, and the fall is quite significant. I can quickly do an info line to check how much ITC has fallen. Almost 12%. That's quite a cut. So let's wait. It will give us a bounce, but not immediately. Maruti fell quite sharp today, and that stock also needs to wait. So does Infosys. Amongst the metal, I was a little hopeful in Steel Authority of India and Tata Steel, but no sign as of now based on today's close. HCL Tech needs probably one more day, so does TCS, Sun Pharma, no. Bharti Airtel, struggling to stay above that 700 mark, but nevertheless, it has not fallen. It has not fallen in relation to the recent correction in the market. This is a sign of relative strength. I think a move back above 700 can mean something important for the stock. We can take a look at Larsen and Toubro also, but SBI, we just spoke, has got some minor divergences on the top. So stretch counter, we would look to buy on a dip. Reliance, no. Today's flattish close is a consolidation after yesterday's sharp sell-off. We can spend a little bit of time on Reliance. 2.85% correction yesterday and today completely flat. Now, if we change this chart to a lower time frame, we would see some kind of a base out kind of a formation down here. Yes. If I change it to a line chart and bring in the RSIs, we don't have a divergence per se. Some kind of an engulfing, and this can be a final engulfing kind of a pattern. I think now we'll record this so that we can see whether they hold true on Monday morning or not. What I can see right now based on the candles and the Heiken-Ashi and the other indicators, I sense that if it manages a move above 2645 Monday morning, then a possible retest of 2665 and 2675 short term is there. Essentially, after today's consolidation, maybe a short term bounce. If that short term breakout doesn't come, then I think it's not going to help. Let's quickly get done with the rest. HDFC Bank, I just spoke about. Let's see whether it manages to pick up on Monday morning. Hindustan Unilever is down to the levels we were talking about. Now, today the stock is flat, 0.29%, a beautiful doji. We can call it a bullish harami pattern as well. And Heiken-Ashi is also suggesting some consolidation. Don't jump onto it right now. There's no rush. Maybe 2 more days, Monday, Tuesday. I think Wednesdays onward, we can get a setup. We will probably get a setup for a short-term bounce back. Keep a closer look at the 75 or the 125-minute time frame, especially the Heiken-Ashis. You would definitely find some divergences playing out. Beautiful setup for divergences. So a short-term bounce back in Hindustan Unilever is definitely cooking up. 3 more stocks. iBank can't do anything, holding really well to its strength. Kotak Bank, of course, that beautiful breakout. And today, HDFC. I was mentioning about the stock to give us a breakout, prospective breakout close to the resistances, and it did definitely deliver. So from the top 17 stocks which make up the Nifty, I think most of them requires a couple of days time for the selling to slow down. One strong counter is Bharti Airtel, where the relative strength is there, and we can expect to show follow-through movement if it sustains above 700. Reliance can be a short-term, very short-term bounce back candidate. Depends on Monday's open. So is HDFC Bank. Hindustan Unilever and ITC, I think will take 2 or 3 days more, or maybe 1 or 2 days more to consolidate and give us the move on the upside. The rest, we will wait. And in my daily videos, if I find any opportunity good enough, then I'll definitely share. But overall, the index has given us a decent correction, a healthy correction. It's come extremely close to the psychological 18K. It might go further down and retest it and create divergences in doing that. We will get a short-term bounce back, and that short-term bounce back will be, I think, good enough to trade. But in that bounce back, make sure that your trades are very, very short-term in nature, because if the market falls in one more leg down, then we don't want to get stopped out and get stuck in our long positions. Let's see. All right. Like always, now let's move ahead and let's talk about your portfolio and